live. Am I live? Dang it, YouTube. Stop that. They, you should be on this side of my camera. It is impossible to tell when this starts. I'm Professor Matthews, learning about movies. It is January 2025. Welcome to a quarter century into this. Quarter century? Yeah, quarter century into this century. We could almost do the top movies from the first quarter century. It's gone by way too quickly, and it's hard to keep up. But you're here. Why? I don't know, for the entertainment value. I got that, and I've got streaming movies to recommend, and I got movie news. I got a bunch of stuff up there on the screen. Is my Substack. You're welcome to go subscribe to it. I write occasionally, usually every week I put something out if I'm watching a new movie, and there is my review of Flow, which has been winning awards. And I was okay with it. I say what I think. I always do. So there's Substack, and I'm gonna do a little sponsorship right now. This is me. I don't hawk products, but I like this thing right here. This is something I bought over Christmas break, the Keychron. I love this keyboard. I love it. It's like one of my favorite products ever. I bought it. I contacted them. I said, how can I don't know, get this out to people? And so they sent me an affiliate link, and it's sitting right there in the chat, and I just love this. I absolutely love it. Magnetic keyboard. It is fantastic. I love the sound of it. I type so much, it's happiness to my fingers. I actually like the keyboards that do clickety-clack and are not silent. So this thing, it's fantastic. I will do an unboxing video at some point. I just got a different one they sent me, but I did actually buy this. Here's the link. Yeah, that's just a gaming. It is a gaming keyboard, so there you go. Appreciate it if you want to check that out. Love it. I'll talk about that another day too. So what do we do on this channel? Everything. A little bit of movie news, a little bit of recommendations, and a little bit later. Oh, do I sound low? Oh, thanks. Do I sound low? What's wrong with you, microphone? Hopefully that helped. That might be better. We'll see. Thanks. I'll interact with the chat, and we will shoot the breeze with the chat in a little bit. I want to get to a few things I noticed in movie news. Netflix is thriving. Good job, I guess. Do you like Netflix? I don't know if this is really true that much, but because you never know how journalists are really reading the financial tea leaves, if they know what they're talking about. I have no idea if this person does, but Netflix is surging revenue. And if you go down and rate it, it's like they're getting 300 million paid memberships during the quarter, adding 19 million in the quarter. Now, supposedly this is because they're doing ad-based revenue, ad-based subscriptions, which are cheaper, and therefore people can afford them or choose to afford these ad-based memberships. And I personally hate those. I don't want to see ads, never. So I usually pay a little bit more if I have to get rid of them. But apparently there are tons of people who can watch ads and subscribe to Netflix. I remember the good old days when Netflix was giving their streaming away for free. They did it at the very beginning, many years ago, 15 maybe. Now, Netflix has been the bane of my existence. Why? Because they're not really a movie curation service. They have their own stuff, and they don't have anything that's old. So, used to be, and some of you old-timers know, that the best thing ever, probably the best movie service ever, was the Netflix DVD Blu-ray through the mail. You could get anything you wanted. As long as on physical media, you could order it and get it. Those were the days. Nostalgia. Okay, old guy rant over. But this is what I'm having to do these days. Can you see it? There you go. In my watching through the 90s, the only way I can get these movies legally, let's keep it there, in the United States, is not via streaming. It's through the library service. That's all I've got. So these movies right here, I could not find, as of 2 weeks ago, legally streaming in the U.S., and there are 3 times as many, whereas where that came from, just from 1997 to 1999, the years I'm kind of in right now as I watch through the 1990s. So I don't care if Netflix is doing well. I can tell you, I can't get access to movie history that easily. Just so you know. But I won't stop complaining about that, because I do that a lot. This is an interesting look. there's a lot of information here. I will tell you how to read this. I thought this was fascinating from my Discord. Someone, I think Linguistics, who's an Australian, one of my great Discord compatriots, put this up. I'm assuming it's true or halfway true. And what this is telling you, I wonder if I have a mouse that works here. Probably not. Maybe I do. This is COVID. The red means less than $8 million box office revenue in the United States. So during COVID, they made less than $8 million a day. And it's telling you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the times a day, which is interesting. I think months of the year. So what's happening, according to this graph, is that people after COVID are not going to the movie theater during the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like, they used to go a lot more. Like, look at that. They used to go a lot more than they did, or they do, in the last several years, which I found fascinating, because it would be a trend that COVID probably initiated. Maybe there's just correlation. Maybe it's causation. And COVID has told people, you know what? You can stay at home and enjoy your entertainment at home. There's lots of entertainment options. There's streaming. There's gaming on Steam. There's TikTok on your phone. Board games, like, I don't know what. There's like 100,000 things at home. And this is what I've been saying for a long time in various ways, that movie theaters, they gotta compete with that. And if they don't compete better with that, they're gonna die off somewhat. And it looks like they already have, if these numbers are right. It did used to be that people went during the week more box office money. And this is, I'm assuming, not inflation adjusted. So the numbers have actually tanked a lot more, given that money is worth less these days than it was in 10 to 15 to 20 years ago. So what are movie theaters going to do to adjust to this? What is the movie industry going to do? I've always said that they've done bad things, like they made movies longer, right? Like, it's longer. And they make them kind of sort of inaccessible. Once they are on streaming services, either they're behind a streaming paywall, or you can't even find them. Again, I still can't get Megalopolis unless I get a VPN and tell the VPN I'm from the UK or whatever that is. So as the end user, I would like to be able to get movies quicker and faster in my home. I think a lot of people might like that, but what do I know about business? I'm just telling you facts. Probably. So hopefully movies don't die out because of this, but this is not great as far as the making of film art. Along those lines, I thought I would talk a little bit about the making of film art and start with the Golden Globes. Does anybody care? Maybe not. But I thought this was interesting. And you'll note what won, which we'll get here in a minute. I have not seen this movie, The Brutalist, which is about brutalism architecture, as far as I can know. So, Brutalist wins in the drama category. And there's something controversial about this movie, which I will show you in a minute. People are not happy with it. For stupid reasons or great reasons. I'll let you decide. But there are a number of movies here, and I must say, almost all of them, this is weird to me, the Golden Globes, usually I think they're more popular. Maybe not. I gotta check my statement there, but I think so. And there's not a lot of movies here that I think a lot of people know in my own personal life. If you looked at them, this one is bizarre. What won? Amelia Perez. I have not seen it. The reason I have not seen it is because everybody's told me it stinks. So why would I waste my time with it? I'm almost tempted to say it, but you want to see? IMDb says this movie, 6.4 out of 10. It's not very good. Over there, it's kind of a stay away. Okay, 33,000 people. Maybe they're leading a campaign against it. What's in it? I don't know. I have no idea. I've never seen this before, though. I don't remember seeing it like this. Letterboxd? What do they say about Amelia Perez? 2.6 is awful there. This is shockingly bad. And why do they hate it? I never checked it out. Is it something ideological? Is it aesthetic? They don't like something the way it looks. Okay, I'm going to check the chat, so it's completely awful. I don't know, but 2.6 is really bad there. This is unbelievably bad for a winner. So it seems like the Golden Globes are out of touch with the mass rating sites, at least those two. I haven't checked Amazon or other places. Okay, maybe it's better there, but I couldn't believe the disconnect between this and Letterboxd, which I'm staring at that graph and I still can't believe it. All right, I'll get to that brutalist thing you just saw in a second. Anyway, I must say, I kind of liked A Real Pain, sort of. It's nominated, but I did feel like it was a bit of a tourist ad for Poland. I thought it was at odds with itself. Flow is not bad. It's worth checking out, I must say. Among these movies, these animated movies, I probably would have picked Flow. But I want to go down because acting, I love saying this. Look who was nominated for, and this is drama. So, female drama. More power to you, ladies. But I must say, they're all a little older. Right? You look at them and you look up their ages, and is anybody under 40 there? I don't think so. Is anybody under 45? Or maybe Kate Winslet is. This is fascinating. The change from basically all Hollywood history, where all the lady acting categories kind of dominated, I think, by younger women, and the constant complaints, which probably are completely justified. I'm not here to judge. I'm just telling you about, Hollywood has such stereotypes against older females, and older females can't get parts, and after you lose a little bit of your luster, you get thrown to the cow pasture and all that as a female actress. And so, on the one hand, lots of parts, well, some parts that are being promoted for older lady actors. On the other hand, Hollywood is getting freaking old. And I don't think they're appealing as much, if at all, to young people. Like the rock and roll industry, like politicians in the US, everything is trending older. And I just don't understand it entirely. Now, if you go down a little bit, you'll see in the acting, best actor, drama, it's kind of the same, but at least there are a couple of young guys. Okay, so there's a mix. I'm just dealing with age here, of course. The female comedy, Demi Moore, Amy Adams. I don't know if she is older, but anyway, there's a mix, but yet there's older people winning and nominated. So even there to some degree. I was happy to see, where's he at? There he is. I like Kieran Culkin a lot in the TV show Succession, so he did well in this movie. Probably why it's worth watching. Him and Jesse Eisenberg work well together. If you want to see a decent movie, it's on Disney Plus and Hulu, A Real Pain. It's 80 minutes of your life. Not bad. All right, The Brutalist, as you saw, won. But I suppose for Oscar season, somebody's a little mad at it and is jockeying in position for their own movie. That's why you get some negative press here. There could be an agenda here. So, just so you know, I'm well aware this could be all BS nonsense to try to get some other movie the award for best whatever and knock The Brutalist down. But still, it's an interesting concept. If you had not seen this, go look up the articles about it, the pieces, because The Brutalist used AI to tweak the Hungarian accents of the actors in it. Adrian Brody, for example, who plays, I think it's a Hungarian Jew. Is that right? And he's an architect. And just to get the accent just perfect. He couldn't quite do it, apparently. I mean, the article says, well, Hungarian's very nuanced and very hard to pin down, so you've got to get it just right. And so they used AI to tweak it. Not dubbing. They tried dubbing a little bit, or mixing two vocal parts. It didn't work. So they did the easy thing and the cheap thing. And then this movie, another part of this article says that AI was used in the end. This is what I was just saying right here. And generative AI was used in the final sequence to create a series of architectural drawings and finished buildings. which I haven't seen this movie, so I don't know exactly what that means. And I don't think that's a spoiler. I hope not. But AI is being used to create scenes versus CGI. What's the difference? But what they're complaining about here, and several people are complaining about, and the article kind of is giving voice to them, is that people, real artists, aren't being used to do this or that work, labor, the tinkering, whatever. It's AI is being used, or someone's pushing a button and AI is doing it for them. And then this interesting paragraph here, where Hans Zimmer's score for Dune 2 was disqualified because it used elements from the music of Dune, but The Brutalist gets a pass because it uses AI. I don't see the total overlap there, but anyway, I get what the complaint could be, because now you're using pattern recognition software, and you are creating something that people, sound mixers, sound engineers could have done. CGI, you're doing something graphic artists, visual artists could have done with AI. And you know what's going to happen? Probably, because Hollywood is so dang pragmatic, they're going to start using this more. So these people can complain as much as they want. They're up against a giant force. So I don't know if they can get it in their union contracts to stop doing this, but I think I'm really shocked by the complaints here, because like, you all have listened to music in the last 15 to 20 years. Almost all of it's auto-tuned. I mean, what's the difference? Maybe there is a difference. But we're auto-tuning, and everyone's used to that and fine with that as far as music, and yet correcting dialect is not great. Maybe that's just a movie industry quirk. I can tell you from an end user standpoint, a viewer, customer like me, whatever, a normie customer. I'm putting my normie customer hat on right now. That's what this is. I don't care. You used matte paintings in the olden days, and you put paintings and they looked just fine. As long as my eye didn't notice them, great. Use back projection. You dub voices. Now you're using AI. As long as I like it, that's what normie viewer is going to think. So film industry people are in a big fight here, because they're fighting against the studio's pragmatic and economic concerns and the viewer's nonchalance and not caring. Probably. I'm assuming they don't care, because auto-tune is used everywhere and no one cares. Well, I care. I don't like it, but seemingly nobody cares. Now, I still think this is a bit of an article about how I don't want The Brutalist to win an award. I want my other movie that's up for nomination to win an award. I think there's some of that. I don't know who. I don't know what the conspiracy behind this is, but anyway. But it is an interesting question about artists using AI. And typically in the past, in my opinion, artists use the new technology to develop their art and try to make something new and interesting based on that new sort of technology. So in that sense, that's a positive read on AI. I don't know what damage it can cause, though, socially and economically for people working in the industry. There may be something terrible about it. So it's weird that Brody couldn't nail the Hungarian accent. I don't totally understand that. I think we can live with something that's a little bit off. So I don't know why they needed that perfection. I'm a little confused by that. Anyway, that's my movie news. I thought this was fascinating. I'll check out your comments in a minute. I'm seeing things, but I can't quite read them effectively right now as I'm talking, yakking at you. What I normally do, now we're deep into this, is what's added on, what's on the Criterion Channel. Obviously my favorite subscription channel. I've been doing this forever, 3 or 4 years at least. I went to what's newly added because normally I go to what's leaving, but what's leaving, I didn't think the selection was that interesting to me. There were a couple on what's leaving that are worthy of note, but I was, Criterion, I don't understand. They should be getting a lot of subscribers, because they got more rich stuff, in my opinion, than Netflix, and that's a strong, and obviously not everyone believes that opinion, but that's mine. Although I should probably do a video on what to watch if you have Netflix. By the way, I subscribe currently to Hulu and Disney because I got an awesome deal, and I need it for the channel for some degree. And I subscribe to Criterion, and it's a Max Hulu Disney bundle. So I kind of like Max. I subscribe to Criterion. There's another one. Well, I have Amazon Prime. I don't really use that much for watching movies. And I will subscribe to Netflix once a year for about a month. That's about what I do. So Minority Report, a movie that is like 3/4 of a great movie, and I can't stand the ending because I want it to be dark and bleak, but that's me and my depressing Gen X cynical mindset. Spielberg has a happy ending, probably because, in part, am I spoiling it? Not really. You wouldn't know that if you watched enough Spielberg movies. Probably because AI, I think his previous movie, was fairly dark in its ending, and he doesn't typically do that. But I like the movie. It's pretty good. I Teach Say Anything. I still like it. I still love it. I like a lot of things about it. It's a really interesting time capsule kind of movie with, one of the more iconic shots ever. So I'm recommending this. I know every shot and every sound in this movie because I've taught it 15 times and seen it 30. And I still like it as I watch it. So it's a good movie. One of my favorite movies ever, and a fantastic acting tour de force by everybody in it. I think this movie is one of the great movies ever made, in one of the great movie years ever, which I have already said on the channel is my favorite movie year ever, or the best, 1975. I think that's what it was. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Watch it. It's fantastic in every single way. I rewatched The Truman Show recently, and it felt like we've passed it to me. Like we've absorbed its satire and its critiques, and we're just gone way past it. And now it seems a little dated, maybe a little naive, but the ending is still amazing. I love the ending of The Truman Show. It's got a religious allegory to it. True Man, and the Ed Harris character is Christoph. I thought that was a little hokey. I mean, you can hide it. You can give them like real names, and then that allegory element will still be there without being that overt. It has some weird things in it. I think there's a premise in it that doesn't make sense, which is they've built a gigantic movie studio, miles in circumference, but they tell Truman, the guy in the reality TV show, that he lives in the wider world. Like there's a Tahiti to go to. And I fail to understand why in the show they didn't just totally gaslight him and say, you live on a flat earth and there's only 5 miles of circumference and that's the world that we live in. I don't see why they didn't make up some cosmic myth that he would buy into so that he wouldn't want to leave. Because the whole movie is him wanting to leave. And you could shut that down pretty easily by gaslighting him, but that's me being a Machiavellian. So anyway, they have a surveillance movie curated list here. So I believe The Truman Show and Minority Report, maybe Gattaca, maybe Eyes Wide Shut is in it. I can't remember all the movies they have, so we'll hit some of them. Gattaca's okay. There's Eyes Wide Shut. The Lives of Others is a surveillance movie, a fantastic movie. A fantastic movie here. I have not covered on the channel. It's so huge. It's a big piece, but this is my favorite Leone movie, Once Upon a Time in the West. If you haven't seen it, go watch that and One Flew Over Cuckoo's Nest, and you'll enjoy your month. Fantastic. I have not seen Birth. Well, I have it at my watch list. So it's a Glazer movie. A Noyce movie might be good. He makes some good movies too. So I've seen Almost Famous. Okay. So if you like any of these, let us know and let us know why. The chat's always a rich, great place. Scanner Darkly. Fine. Singles. Okay. I don't like that. Killers. THX is a surveillance. I like Body Double, but I've crowed about that on this channel a lot. Have any of you seen the early Sean Baker movies? I have not. And so he's getting Criterion Collection release, making very good movies recently that people love. Anora is one this year. I haven't seen it, but The Florida Project is a fantastic movie. Another Ernst Lubitsch. I mean, there's all... Angel Face. I'm adding this to my list. I won't even get to watch them. It's because I don't have the time. Oh, if only. Before Midnight's great. So anyway, I'm going very quickly now. I have not seen To Die For. There's Joaquin Phoenix. Oh, have I seen that? Is that any good? This one? I can't remember it. So maybe I haven't. Another Sean Baker. Anyway, watch Red River. That was one I was going to put up there because I saw John Carpenter. I keep seeing this, actually. What's his favorite director, John Carpenter? I would not have guessed this. It's Howard Hawks. For whatever reasons, they don't seem to overlap very much, I suppose, except to be efficient. Whatever that means. But Red River is one of my favorite John Wayne movies. It's fun to watch. It's a cattle drive. They did probably the best cattle drive ever in that movie. Montgomery Clift versus like a younger generation versus the older John Wayne, who's not that great of a guy in this, as it turns out. So I like that sort of casting against type that happens in that movie with Wayne. So if you see anything else here, but of course, I might as well highlight it. This is one of the best movies ever made about sound. And it just could be one of the best movies ever made. The Conversation. I was talking to my buddy who watches a lot of these movies. I'm gesturing towards his office over here, and he just rewatched this one and absolutely loved it. And to have the sound quality be so amazing. This is a point in time about the late 60s, early 70s where the sound design and the soundscape with the effects is just like increasing in awesomeness across this period of time, in my opinion. So this is a great movie. But I love Hackman. Anything that Hackman is in, he sort of brings himself to the role, and it's always doing great work there. So yeah, there's a ton of stuff. Portrait of a Lady I just watched. So anyway, there you go. There's like a million things to watch. Here's my letterbox. If any of you are into that, this is what I've watched recently. And what you're seeing here is me going through the 90s. I'm building a 90s list, which I haven't revealed. And I'm doing videos on repicking the Oscars from the 90s. And I'm done through 96. So I've got to do 97. And a list of movies to watch. And the amazing list of movies to watch is enormous. I don't totally remember it this way, but if you were to look at my lists of mid to late 90s movies, it had to be like 2 a week were coming out that were interesting in a movie theater. I don't just mean nowadays it's streaming, of course, but you go to a movie theater and like, I gotta watch this one with Denzel or this one with, directed by Tarantino, and which one do I pick? Like, we're doing that kind of thing every single week. So maybe I have 90s nostalgia, but the truth is the list of movies, and I showed you this. I might as well do it again. Like this times 20. If you just go from 95 to 99, and you'll never run out of movies to watch, at least for a few years. So you could try that exercise if you want, but some of these are really like the Woody Allen movie, Deconstructing Harry. You can read my stuff there, but I do very short, very quick reviews. All right. So that's my blah, blah, blah today, which I love. So I'm going to check out the comments now and see what you've got to say, because you are great, and there are some great people here. I have a Discord. You can join it. People sometimes chat on there, and it seems pretty civil. I think it is. It's not a lot of yakety-yak nonsense. Okay. Have I seen Ozu's Early Spring or Tokyo Twilight? That's where I'm sorry, I am not an Ozu expert. So when you say early spring, not late spring, I'm like, which one have I seen? I don't think I've seen Early Spring. Have I? Nope. I've seen some Ozu movies, but again, I've not studied them. So, no, I haven't. I love Good Morning and a couple others, but yeah, I've not studied them like other people have. So, one reason is I feel like anytime I watch anything from Japan, everything is quite otherworldly to me. I don't totally understand Japan. I've never formally studied it. Its history, its culture, the history of it in the 20th century after World War II, its norms and values, all the various religions. I feel like I need to do that in order to comprehend to some extent most Japanese things, even though they do decently well at communicating cross-culturally. And Kurosawa is the big one who seems really to communicate to me and as a normie middle-class American or whatever. But some of these are harder to get into, and that's fine. That's the way it goes. So I feel like I need to study Japan a little bit to bone up on it and understand Ozu. Nothing wrong with that. Anyway, when I watched your review for Flow, I don't think I did a video review for Flow, though. I did a written review. I was curious for other ratings you had on other animated films. I saw you rated in like Up. Why is that? I found it really boring myself. Well, that's probably why. I was bored. You know, Up has that fantastic montage at the beginning that makes every single person in the world cry. And so everybody in the history of the world should study it for how and why it made people cry, at least at the time of release, maybe even today, because it is highly moving to a lot of people. And if you know why it's moving to a lot of people, you might be able to move them yourself. Think like a snake, I guess, is what I'm saying here. I don't recommend that. But anyway, I think that's interesting. I think the movie takes a dip after that. And to me, it's sort of a blandish adventure. I don't like the world. It's kind of dull. Whatever South American place they go to. Now, I'm not here to diss on Up. If you really love it, great. I don't identify well with it and the main character's plight and so on. So maybe I should wait until I'm like 70 years old, and then it will say a lot to me. I don't know. But another reason why Up kind of failed is like that was peak Pixar for me, Ratatouille and WALL-E, and they were just, that's their peak in my opinion, for me. So then Up was the next one, that's kind of a letdown. So I'm probably doing what I shouldn't do, which is contrast it with the ones immediately before it, because that's what happened going to see Up in the theater. But my wife was crying during that sequence in the theater. Netflix has no Criterion. Yeah. You went to the cinema last night. It was packed, but might be the discount Tuesdays. Yeah. I'm sure there's some places where cinema going is a phenomenon, but fewer than there used to be. More event films seem like the way for cinema to survive. Barbenheimer. I thought that was an accident, though, like a marketing accident. Or did those studios coordinate to create Barbenheimer? And you gotta have Christopher Nolan to make that happen. So I'm not sure if you can pull that off as easily. I don't know. Oh, the Oscar nominations are out tomorrow, and I gotta do a live stream on that. Shoot. People say, well, Simpex says Emilia Perez is awful, but Dr. David says it's worth seeing. I don't even know what it's about. I stayed away because of the ratings. Why bother? And I'm late to the party, so who cares? But Lever Roy says it's terrible, and millennials hate Emilia Perez. The rest of us love it. Could be generational difference. You're right. It's possible. Are you saying older people like Emilia Perez, therefore they voted for it for Golden Globe? But millennials don't like it? Huh. Watching is a Mexican, the bad Spanish accent. Yeah, something with accents, as we just said. I have not seen Anora. Is it available? Last time I checked, it was a $19.99 rental, which I was definitely not going to do, because why would I rent it when I could buy? Okay, I can rent it for $9.99, huh? Well, I could use a VPN, but that's a lot of work. I'm so lazy when it comes to VPNs, and figuring that out, I can do it, but I don't. $9.99 is too cheap, too pricey for me. I'm that kind of guy. I don't make a ton of money from the channel, so why in the world would I spend it on that? This looks like a good movie. I like Baker, so I'll watch it for sure. I just haven't seen it. Always late to the party, or sometimes late. Older women, yeah. Emilia Perez is not about trans issues, not a documentary, it's a genre film with a trans character. Commence crime melodrama musical. Is it a musical? Yeah. Really? Huh. Did I finish Succession? I thought I talked about that. Yes, I did. My conclusion of Succession, the TV show, is a little harsh because I feel like what they said in the last 3 seasons, they said in the first season, and therefore I really only need to watch the first season, maybe the first and second season. This was an HBO show about corporate media mogul. I guess it was a Fox News-like guy played by Brian Cox, and he was going to give away his company to his kids, and they were vying for power, but then he wasn't going to give it away, want to keep it himself, and it just goes from there. The inheritance, which is a generational difference, which I really like that topic. Very well. The lingo in that movie is fantastic, or show is fantastic. I just thought it repeated itself quite a bit by the end. And it pulled a bait and switch on me, which is to say that everyone was a Machiavellian in that, out for their own pragmatic ends and playing and performing so that they could get them. But there was a moment where it became moralistic, politically moralistic, and I thought that was not right for the writers to do. I thought they were being silly. It's not a feel-good TV show either, but it has some merit. I did like it quite a bit. But I would say to a lot of people, you might only need to watch the first season, and you'll get the flavor of it, and you keep watching it, but it'll keep doing the same thing. Nothing wrong with that, though. It was top 10% of TV shows ever made, maybe much higher than that. Amelia Perez used voice cloning too? Really? Are you serious? I'm going to use this silly search engine, AI search engine here. Amelia Perez, voice correction. Did it? Oh, yeah. Oh, what'd it do? I bet they're all doing it now then. If these two are doing it, you're going to find it more. Where there are 2, there are 200. That's my heuristic. I was like, if 5 people are telling me something, then 500 people would say that, or 500 people have that idea. So that's my usual. Reveal that AI tools were employed to help Gascon hit high notes. So the vocal corrections, okay, sure. I wonder if they vocally corrected Wicked. Did they, or was that pure voice? We'll never know, will we? One day this stuff will be too good, and we'll never know, huh? 90%. Oh yeah, Evan says 90% of produced music uses AI to pitch correct vocalists. What Brody does emotionally is totally human. Yeah. Once they get to the acting being corrected and the movements being corrected somehow, that's gonna feel weird to those of us who grew up with human actors. It may not feel weird to kids who get used to it because that's what they've grown up to know. So we'll see how that works. I do think a lot of movie enjoyers are real crybabies. Yeah, probably. Oh, yeah, David Lynch, duh. I totally spaced. I shouldn't have, but it's been a little while. David Lynch died, and R.I.P. Everybody knows everything about him, so what can I say? I think he's made masterpieces, and was an interesting guy. I mean, very interesting guy. So hopefully we get people like him that are bold weirdo artists who can navigate their way through all the technological changes and the political conformism and all that stuff that goes on, that has been going on recently. My favorite Lynch is what? I don't know. You know, I'll always recommend The Elephant Man because I think that's a universal movie. I think it can be watched by anybody. It still looks fantastic. It sounds fantastic. And I can give that to my, well, I don't have grandmas anymore. They're dead. But I can give it to my grandma. I can give it to my teenagers right now. So it's something that has a universal. And probably The Straight Story. Although The Straight Story is a little weirder. But The Elephant Man has sort of this universal moral thing going on, and universal monster with a heart tail, and it's whatever. You know, I love The Lost Highway, which I have a video on, but I feel weird saying I like the weird perverse Lynch stuff. Lost Highway, I'm blanking, I'm so sorry, but those are the ones that come to mind immediately. Eraserhead is really good, really weird. You know, they need to make movies like Eraserhead. Where are those movies? I don't know. Maybe that's a one-of-a-kind thing. You can't replicate it. Evan says, the Best Picture nominees for 75 are surreal. Yeah, I'll just bring that up again real quickly. I think I said that was the best movie year ever made. and when I type this in and give you the information, you need to remember, or you need to know this, that The Godfather Part 2 debuted, I want to say, in December 25th or 30th of 1974. If it had come out a week later, it would have been a 1975 movie. And so you could just add The Godfather Part 2 to the roster of... I think I'm right about the dates, but I might be wrong there. Oh, no. Oh, 75. Okay, this was for 1974 movies. Duh. Okay. Maybe that's what you're referring to, Evan, but let's do this. Because this would be 1975 movies. Because it's always a year later. So movies from 75, which would have One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That. I think that's probably what you're referring to. Although, this was pretty good. I don't think I've seen Lenny. Have I seen? No, shoot. Lenny. But, Towering Inferno. Okay, what? Go back to this. These are the ones. So that's... Whoa. Wow. 5. That I can't even believe that happened. That is pretty crazy. And once you go to my 75 video, I go into all the movies that were made in like our classics, Monty Python and Holy Grail, etc. There's so many of those that come out that year. Okay, what else? Anything else? Dark Star? You like Dark Star? Yeah. For Carpenter. We should watch Birth. I don't know what Birth is. I'll look up Birth. Succession is one of the only good shows. I hate TV shows, but Succession was one of the few I've seen that I liked. Okay, yeah. It's well written, I think. Except I said it repeats itself. But I think the patter of the characters is really good in that show, if I remember correctly. And Sopranos, yeah. I was told about The Sopranos, which I never did have seen, that it's like a 50-50 thing, where like 50% of the episodes still work today, and they sort of work together, but then you can clearly see the filler in them from today's point of view. So maybe I'll try it. I really don't know why I haven't watched it. I mean, there's so much to do in so little time. Yeah. This was fantastic. Actually, more people here than at the beginning of this, which is great. Check out the keyboard that I linked to, my Substack, Letterboxd. And I guess I'll be doing a video live stream on Oscar nominations, which could be fun, but also could be movies I have not seen because I have no access to them, or I just didn't go. Yeah, give me some likes. Thanks. I haven't seen Severance. I haven't seen Billions. There are so many of these shows that I like. I need about 30 hours to watch it. I still need to watch the last season of Barry. Yeah, I still need to do that. So it's hard. I got like, how do you get to this? This is my Twitter joke, which is that how many people have gone into the Criterion closet and stared at the walls of movies and gone, I haven't seen any of these. Like, I haven't seen 98% of them. And who goes in there and goes, I don't have a clue. I'm getting out of here. Nobody does that. Everyone seems to know all the movies in the closet, Criterion Closet videos, which I don't think is even possible to know. Well, you got to spend some time. You probably could watch all 1,200 of them. But I think a lot of people have only seen 100, which is fine. It's normal. What's beyond a first world problem? Everything I'm talking about is beyond a first world problem. Everything is a future-oriented, super rich problem. Absolutely, no doubt about it. Nothing we're saying here is of any major consequence. Mostly. There's probably a couple things that were serious. But other than that, it's movies, shooting the breeze. I hope you have a good movie watching month. And I'll probably see you again when I get to when these Oscar nominations come out, which I was not aware of. So, thanks all. See you later.